Winbak Farm of Canada is home to 8 outstanding pacers, including $2 million winner and O'Brien Horse of the Year betting line, who is new to Canada in 2022. Look for first crop yearlings from these 3 standout stallions in 2022. O'Brien Award winner and earner of over $1.4 million, Jimmy Freight, Horse of the Year and richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, McWicked, and O'Brien Award winner and Metro Pace champion, Stag Party. Also standing millionaires, Art Spink, Better Than Cheddar, Better's Delight, and Shadow Play. For more information, visit winbakfarm.com. That's winbakfarm.com.
We're catching up with a lot of people today and getting all the information about 2-year-olds in training. What's a trainer's tip or suggestion that you have for horsemen starting out in the yearling game?
Well, you got to have some patience. It's hard to do when you're young. You know, you like to train them a little faster, but you got to have some patience and take your time. You know, they'll get to the races when they're ready.
I tell everybody about the same. You know, everybody has horses that they like individuals. And, you know, we all pick out the ones we like. And as far as tips, be careful with them, be patient, and don't keep a horse that's no good. The owners will be happier with you if you just tell them he's no good and get rid of him.
You just can't overdo it. They have immature joints, immature ligaments. They go through growth spurts all the way down. And while they're doing all this, if you overstress them, then you end up with soft tissue problems or immature joint problems. So it's just kind of an experience thing where a lot of times the trainers need earplugs and lip cords just as much as the horses do, especially with the really good ones. They do it so easy. That's sometimes they're the hardest ones to train down.
And you've been making some great videos on social media for your owners out there.
Yes, we try to get the content out as much as we can. A lot of our owners can't make it down. We do have some that are here regularly, but a lot of them are not. It's hard to get down here in the winter, so we try to get all those videos up so they can see how the horses are doing.
The skill that goes into that, where did you learn this so that if other stables want to do it? I see a lot of stables that are trying. What advice would you give to them?
Well, I try to make it very personal. A lot of the times I actually go out and ride on the jog cart with, my dad or somebody and have like the up close videos. If not, I also try to put number pads on them so that they can recognize the horses. We go in large sets, so we try to do that.
Doc, tell me a little bit about what goes into the maintenance for these young horses that are just in the learning stages of their career.
Well, first thing we try and do is keep them healthy. This time of year we do quite a bit of vaccinating, every 6 weeks. And we just, watch them jog. And if they the best part about this time of year is if they get a little sore, you can just kick them out for 10 days. If you don't have to do a lot of injecting or anything like that. A lot of it's on the grooms and the caretakers. We diagnose, we look at a lot of horses. We don't really do a lot to them. We just say, work on this area, work on that area. And,
What would you say is one of the most common problems that you see with people training down 2-year-olds now?
Well, down here on these clay racetracks, a lot of it, soft tissue soars up. You don't have bowed tendons or torn suspensories, but they get sore in their suspensories and tendons, and then just give them a little time and they come around. You just need to be patient, just take your time and learn from these other guys, these top trainers. Most of these guys, and that's one thing great about this business, everybody's willing to help everybody else.
Wilma, if you had one tip that you could give people starting out in the industry that are interested in competing in these 2- and 3-year-olds, what would be your greatest piece of advice?
Well, everybody buys horses for a different reason. And for us, we want a nice tape on them. We want the pedigree and the family to have some success close up. And that's what we use, and we go and see them, and if they're acting like idiots in the stall and everything, then we will go on to another horse because we don't want something you got to fight with. And you just try to get the best you can for the price you do and hope for the best.
The biggest thing I learned just being around my grandfather and now Nifty, 24 hours a day, do as much as you can, just be in the barn, be around the horses. You pick up on little things that will help you. Just be in there. So work as much as you can.
What exactly is the biggest asset of being somewhere like Spring Garden Ranch?
Well, it's you can take your time. Back up home, our track is so busy, or so many horses on there and stuff, that it's hard to take babies and really spend a lot of time on them and stuff. And here, you can take your time, and if things don't work out, you come back in and you make some adjustments, you can go back out. We're up there, it's always hurry, hurry, hurry all the time. I like the half-mile track out here. I take them out, just kind of get away from the traffic and everything like that. And I go a lot of their slow trips on the half, and then go their faster miles on the big track.
Go to a big trainer and learn from them. That's how I was always with racehorses, and got with Brian for a few years and learned the baby side, and that changed, I think, my game around and learning the different aspect of the game, and that's what I would say to do.
But do you ever go to some of these guys with more years behind you and have them help you fix a problem horse?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a trotter down here. She was coming a little close to an elbow and hitting a shin at the same time. First person I ran over to ask was Sylvester. So I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not too proud. I had a yearling last year. I was having terrible gait, and I sent her to Brian for 2 months. So I'm not ashamed at all.
Todd Luther, never letting his ego get in the way of his pocketbook. Thank you, Todd.
Thanks.
It's a great game. Just get with the right people, and older, I would say, so they'll have time to teach them something, as they go in. Just get with a good outfit like this outfit, and they'll teach you everything you need to know.
What are some of the biggest points that you focused on when you had your own stable?
Well, just mainly get the best grooms you can, because that's important. It really is. And then the horses, if I race a lot of young horses, and with them, you got to be careful with them. If you see the least little thing coming on them, like an ankle swell or something, just don't pressure them, because something's wrong. And I think, most of them all can go fast anymore.
What about nutrition?
Well, nutrition is great. You got to get, I was lucky to have a nice young fella from Ohio State University, and he helped me out with my nutrition. Okay. And that's important.
Yes.
But the main thing is take a blood test every once in a while, these horses. Make sure, don't wait till something happens. If you see they miss a meal or something, well, check them out. If you go and, participate and keep flying with them and training them, and then they're going to get worse.
What about nutrition, Charlie? Is there something that you start out with your young ones?
14% and kind of a low fat, and you get the jog miles in them, and they start to muscle up because they're pretty soft. Even though some of these farms, they put them on the wheel and all that and everything, but they're using a whole different muscle out here.
What about shoeing? How are you starting out?
I go barefoot as long as I can. Okay. And then, put something light on them, the lighter the shoe, and just depending on how the track is in the winter, I use a lot of flip-flops if the track's cupping out, because they stay on top of it better like that, and I've had success with it.
When's go time? They just started stakes, I would assume pretty soon. You're starting to put the hammer down a little.
Nah, not really. We'll be in 210 when we go up there, like the middle of April, 1st of May. But, then they got to get acclimated. You lose a couple weeks going up there. I don't like to, rush right into where I left off. They got to get acclimated to the weather just like me.
Brian Brown told me the same thing. You have to give it at least 2 weeks before you even think about training them, or else you could be a little disappointed to begin with.
Oh, yeah, because, they do it so easy here. You get the mile track. It's the greatest advantage. A good horse is it doesn't matter where you train them. You train them on a half mile, whatever. Feed them, work them, they're going to be good. But down here, it really helps the mediocre horse, to get over the hump.
Treat them all like individuals because they're not the same. You can't go the same speed with the whole stable every time you train. You got to sort some out and go slower with some, go faster with others.
With the actual breaking, what does that entail? Some guys say they go right out, they hook, and then they're out there jogging the first day, second day. Some of yours, you take a considerable longer amount of time line driving. Well, it used to be 40 years ago, you had to take 2 weeks to break them. They had to move slow. And nowadays, it seems like they're handled so much and the breeding is so fine that it's pretty easy just to have them hooked within 2 or 3 days. How about staking? We're coming up to that time of the year. How do you know you've got to put a little bit of pressure on them to see if they go forward? How do you do that knowing that the stake time is now and you have months until they race? Well, staking is a terrible thing for a trainer to go through because we really don't know a heck of a lot right now. You can pick out maybe your 2 or 3 best ones and go a little brave on them, and the other ones maybe go a little less and hope that you've got them covered if they do turn out good. But it's a real shot in the dark right now this time of year. You just got to really, and we're not going to press them that hard to be able to tell what they really are yet. So it's a crapshoot, really. A lot of times you'll go home and one of the ones that was really bad turns out to be your best one. It's just, you can't really tell, but you get a little bit of a clue by gait and attitude this time of year.
Well, if you let the horse come to you, I mean, some are more advanced and some are a little slower, but they all have a time to shine. You just got to kind of wait for them. Everybody feeds different. You try to feed the best you can and keep them warmed regularly, and you can see their coats will start shining and they'll start feeling better. It's just a time thing.
It takes a lot of a lot of learning and working for people that can show you a lot of things, to rig a young horse up and get them ready to race and stuff. So it's probably a little tough on young guys coming up now. I mean, it's finding the right owners and stuff like that. But it's a good game. I mean, but you need help along the way.
Well, and you're known for some great pacers, have won some huge races. Tell me about gating up the pacer.
Well, I like keeping as long a hobble on them as I can for as long as I can until they tell me they need them tightened up. I've always figured that a horse is going to go faster when they're not bound up in the hobble. So you can leave them on long as you can, and then when they start getting a little tumbly or a little rolly, then you got to start taking them up. The best would be a real good free-legged pacer.
Right.
but yeah, I mean, hobbles is the main thing.
Dad, a question. Has there ever been a filly that you just could not get to fit into your program? There wasn't enough rigging to hold, just a problem case through and through?
Well, that's a tough one. I don't know, I'd have to think about it, but probably only one.
Winbak Farm of Canada is home to 8 outstanding pacers, including $2 million winner and O'Brien Horse of the Year betting line, who is new to Canada in 2022. Look for first crop yearlings from these 3 standout stallions in 2022. O'Brien Award winner and earner of over $1.4 million, Jimmy Freight, Horse of the Year and richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, McWicked, and O'Brien Award winner and Metro Pace champion, Stag Party. Also standing millionaires, Art Spink, Better Than Cheddar, Better's Delight, and Shadow Play. For more information, visit winbakfarm.com. That's winbakfarm.com.